It started with a beep, just one strange, persistent beep from a metal detector near an old oak tree deep in the North Carolina woods. The guy holding it, a blogger named Mike Garrett, was filming his weekend treasure hunt for his small YouTube channel. Nothing too serious, just old coins, maybe a vintage pocket watch, the kind of stuff that makes for a fun weekend video. But that beep, it didn't sound like the usual junk. It was too strong, too deep, like something was buried with a story to tell. He dug for hours, dirt under his nails, camera rolling the whole time. And when his shovel finally hit something solid, he didn't pull up a rusty relic or a forgotten trinket. He pulled up a thermos, a little girl's thermos, stainless steel, once covered in butterfly stickers. And right beside it, bones, small bones. The moment he realized what he was looking at, his hands started shaking. He didn't post the video. He called the police. Now, imagine getting a phone call like that. Not a spam call, not a wrong number, but a detective's voice on the line, asking you to come down to the station. You haven't heard from them in over a decade. 14 years, to be exact. That's how long it had been since June and Marcus Morrison last heard anything about their daughters, Ma and Sophie. 14 years of silence. 14 years of birthdays without candles, holidays without laughter, a house that felt too big and too quiet. They used to go to a little holiday home in the woods every summer. It was their tradition. Warm July days, picnic blankets spread under the pines, the girls running through the grass like they owned the world. Sophie, the older one, 7 years old and already bossing everyone around in the sweetest way. She was proud of her thermos, wouldn't even let her little sister Emma drink from it. It'll get sticky, she'd say, holding it tight like it was a treasure. And Emma, just 4, always following her big sister, clutching a stuffed rabbit and giggling at everything. That day started like any other. Sun in the sky, birds in the trees, the smell of sandwiches and bug spray. June and Marcus were packing up the car, just a few trips back and forth, 10 minutes, maybe 15. When they turned around, the girls were gone. No screams, no footprints, no note. Just gone. It was like the forest swallowed them whole. They screamed their names until their voices gave out. The police came, volunteers came, search dogs, helicopters, flyers posted everywhere. But nothing, no leads, no suspects, just silence. Year after year, the hope got quieter. People stopped asking. The case went cold. But June never stopped looking at the woods from the porch. She never stopped listening for little feet running across the lawn. Then, one morning, the phone rang. Detective Harrison. The name meant nothing to her at first, but the tone, come serious, heavy, told her everything. We found something, he said. It's connected to your daughters. The coffee cup slipped from her hand. She didn't even feel it break. All she could hear was her own heartbeat, loud and fast, like it was trying to wake her up from a nightmare she'd been living for 14 years. When they got to the station, the detective showed them a photo of the thermos. June didn't need DNA tests or police reports. She knew it the second she saw it. That was Sophie's. The one she wouldn't share. The one she carried, like a badge of honor. And with it, pieces of her favorite green gingham dress. Dental records confirmed it. Sophie had been buried just miles from where they'd searched, under that oak tree, all this time. June collapsed. Marcus held her, but even his arms couldn't stop the world from spinning. Their little girl, their bright, loud, beautiful Sophie, gone, really gone. But here's where it gets even harder to understand. Because the detective didn't close the case that day. He reopened it. Why? Because Sophie wasn't the only one who disappeared. Emma was still missing, and there was no sign of her at the burial site. No clothes, no toys, nothing. So the question burned in the air like smoke. If someone took both girls, and only Sophie was buried there, what happened to Emma? Is it possible after 14 years that she's still out there, that someone kept her alive? The thought was unbearable, and yet, it was also the first spark of hope June had felt in more than a decade. Maybe Emma was alive, maybe she was scared, maybe she was waiting. The police went back to the beginning. Everyone who was near the picnic that day, every neighbor, every ranger, every relative. They started looking again at the people who knew the family, who knew the girls' routines. One name kept coming up: Daniel, June's younger brother. He was always around, always helping, always the first to show up when something went wrong. He loved the girls, everyone said so. But now, looking back, some things didn't add up. He'd been at the house a lot, more than June remembered, and he always asked questions: what time they arrived, where the girls liked to play, when they'd be back. At the time, it seemed like concern. Now it felt different. Then there was Park Ranger Mitchell, the last person to see the girls before they vanished. He'd been so involved in the search, so eager to help, but he kept steering volunteers away from certain parts of the forest, the northern section, the area with the old storm bunker. Coincidence or something darker? June started noticing things. Daniel's behavior changed after the thermos was found. He showed up out of nowhere, saying he wanted to help. But then he'd disappear for hours. Once, June followed him to a pharmacy. She watched from a distance as he bought stacks of supplies: water, Food, medical kits, and boxes of feminine hygiene products. Enough for months, maybe years. And when she confronted him, he lied. Said he was donating to a shelter. But June knew. That wasn't the man she grew up with. That wasn't the fun uncle who taught Emma how to play Go Fish. Something was off. And when she saw the receipts on his counter soundproofing foam, padlocks, bleach, her stomach dropped. Why would anyone need that much? Unless they were trying to hide something, unless they were trying to keep someone quiet. Then came the day she went to his house. Just to talk. Just to clear the air. But when she got there, Daniel's story didn't hold up. And when she looked out the window and saw the old bunker in the backyard, the one their dad built years ago, the one Daniel said was sealed, her blood ran cold. The bushes had been cleared, fresh footprints in the dirt. And then he caught her looking. That's when everything changed. His voice dropped, his eyes went dark, and he said words that still haunt her. You should have been watching them. That's when she knew. This wasn't grief. This wasn't stress. This was guilt. This was fear. And this was the face of the man who had taken her daughters. But before she could run, he blocked the door. And in his hand, a knife. The air in Daniel's kitchen felt thick, like it was pressing down on June's chest. She couldn't move. The knife was in his hand, and the man standing in front of her wasn't her brother anymore. Not really. The Daniel she grew up with, one who used to carry her on his shoulders, who made Emma laugh with silly magic tricks, was gone. In his place stood someone cold, someone broken, someone who had been living a lie for over a decade. And now, he was talking about Emma like she was some kind of possession. She's mine, he said, voice low and trembling with a kind of twisted pride. I saved her. June's mind raced. Asterisk saved her. From what? From them? From the world. The words didn't make sense, not at first. But then it hit her. This wasn't about love. This was about control. This was about obsession. And Sophie hadn't fit into his sick fantasy. She'd fought, she'd cried. She'd wanted her mom and dad, and so he'd silenced her. Buried her near the house they all loved, like some kind of sick tribute. The thermos, the oak tree. It wasn't random. He wanted her to be found. He wanted the world to believe both. Girls were dead so he could keep Emma hidden, locked away in that bunker, frozen in time, just the way he wanted her. June's legs felt weak, but she forced herself to stay upright. She had to keep him talking. Had to buy time. Daniel, she said, her voice shaking but steady. You don't have to do this. Emma's alive. We can get her help. You can get help. He laughed, a sharp, hollow sound that made the hair on her arms stand up. Help. I am the help. I've been the only one who's ever protected her. You and Marcus, you didn't even notice when they were gone. You packed up the car and left them alone. You don't get to play the hero now. His words cut deep, because part of her believed them. That guilt had lived inside her for 14 years. What if she'd turned around just 1 second sooner? What if she'd kept the girls closer? But this wasn't about her guilt. This was about his madness. And now he was dragging Emma into the woods. He said it like it was a picnic, like they were going on some sweet little adventure. We're going to see the birds, he told her, voice suddenly soft, almost gentle. And that scared June more than anything, because Emma believed him. She didn't fight. She didn't scream. She just followed, confused but obedient, still calling him Uncle Danny, still thinking he was the only one who cared. The bunker door slammed shut behind them, sealing them in darkness. June's heart pounded so hard she could feel it in her throat. She could hear Emma breathing in the corner, small and scared, and Daniel pacing above, muttering to himself. The padlock clicked. He was going to leave them down here. But why? Was he coming back? Was he going to come back with something worse? June's fingers brushed against something cold on the floor, a metal pipe, maybe part of the old ventilation system. She picked it up, clutching it like a lifeline. If he came down here, if he tried to hurt Emma again, she wouldn't hesitate. She'd fight. She'd do whatever it took. But then she heard the door open again. Light poured in, and Daniel was coming down, not with the knife this time, but with a tarp, rope, a bottle of something that smelled sharp and chemical. Time to go, Emma, he said again, like he hadn't just been screaming at June, like nothing was wrong. We're going for a ride. June didn't think, she just moved. She lunged at him, slamming into his back, knocking him off balance. The knife fell. She grabbed it, scrambled up the stairs, and ran for the house. She didn't look back. She didn't stop. She grabbed the phone, dialed 911, screamed her address, her daughter's name, that she was alive, that the kidnapper was her brother. And then she heard the SUV peel out of the driveway. He was running, but Emma was still down there. June didn't care about the phone. She didn't care about the police. She ran back to the bunker, down the stairs, and found Emma standing frozen, still waiting for Uncle Danny to take her to see the birds. He's gone, June said, pulling her close. You're safe now. Emma didn't hug her back. She didn't cry. She just looked up with those big, empty eyes and said, but he promised. The words broke June's heart. This wasn't just a rescue. This was the beginning of something much harder. Because Emma didn't know who she was. She didn't remember her real name. She didn't remember her parents. She only remembered the man who took her, who told her lies every single day, who made her believe the world outside was dangerous, and that he was the only one who loved her. When the police arrived, it was chaos. Officers shouting, radios crackling, the paramedics rushing in. Detective Harrison was there, his face pale when he saw the inside of the bunker, the bed with restraints. The calendar with marks for every day Emma was kept there. The little drawings she'd made on the walls before Daniel made her stop. And then Marcus showed up wild-eyed, covered in sweat, having heard something on the police scanner. When he saw Emma, alive but so different, he collapsed to his knees and sobbed. "Emma," he choked out. "Oh my God, Emma." But she just looked at him like he was a stranger. "Who is that man?" she asked. "Why is he crying?" That was the moment June realized finding Emma was only half the battle. The other half was helping her remember, helping her heal. Because 14 years of being told she belonged to someone else, that her real family didn't want her, that the world was a bad place, those words had been carved into her mind like stone. At the hospital, the doctors moved fast. Emma was dehydrated, underweight, covered in old scars and fresh bruises. She flinched at every touch, every loud noise. She kept asking for Uncle Danny, wondering if he was mad at her, if she'd done something wrong. One of the nurses tried to explain that he was gone, that he hurt people, but Emma just shook her head. "No," she said, "he protects me. He gives me medicine so I don't get scared." The words sent chills through everyone in the room. This wasn't just kidnapping, this was psychological torture, and Daniel had done everything he could to erase the real Emma and replace her with someone who depended on him completely. June sat by her daughter's bed, holding her hand, humming the lullaby she used to sing every night when Emma was little, the one about the mockingbird and the diamond ring. At first, Emma didn't react, but then, slowly, her breathing changed. Her fingers twitched, and then just once she squeezed back. It was so faint, so small, but June felt it like a spark. In the dark, "I'm here, baby," she whispered. "I never stopped loving you." Marcus sat on the other side, silent, tears rolling down his face. They didn't know what would happen next. They didn't know if Emma would ever fully come back to them, but she was alive, she was breathing, and she had squeezed her mother's hand. Meanwhile, Daniel was caught at a rest stop just over the state line. He didn't resist. He just sat in his car, staring out the window, like he knew it was over. When the police searched his SUV, they found everything: tarp, rope, shovel, bleach. He was planning to kill her, to bury her in the woods and disappear. But June had stopped him, and now, in a jail cell, he started talking, confessing, saying he'd been obsessed with the girls for years, that he'd been watching, waiting, planning. He said he never meant to take them that day. It just happened, like fate. But June knew better. Nothing about this was fate. It was calculation. It was evil hiding behind a smile. And now, as she sat in that hospital room, listening to the soft beep of the heart monitor, feeling her daughter's hand in hers, she made a promise, not just to Emma, but to Sophie. She wouldn't let this break them. She wouldn't let the darkness win, because Emma was here. And as long as she was breathing, there was hope. And every time she hummed that lullaby, and every time Emma's fingers moved, even just a little, June believed it a little more. The hospital room was quiet now, just the soft hum of machines and the occasional rustle of a nurse passing by. Emma slept, her hand still in June's, that faint squeeze returning every now and then like a whisper from the past. Outside, the world kept turning. Cars passed on the wet pavement. A distant siren wailed. Life went on. But inside that room, time felt different. Slower, heavier, like every breath carried the weight of 14 years. Marcus hadn't left her side since he got there. He sat in the chair beside the bed, one hand resting on the blanket, the other holding June's. Neither of them spoke much. What could they say? Their daughter was alive. Their brother was the monster who took her. Their little girl had been locked in a bunker, brainwashed, told she belonged to a man who called himself her protector. And Sophie, brave, loud, beautiful. Sophie was gone, murdered because she wouldn't stop fighting, because she remembered her real mom and dad. The truth sat in the room like a shadow, long and cold. Detective Harrison came in the next morning, his face tired but steady. "Daniel's talking," he said. "Wants a plea deal? Says he'll tell us everything if he avoids the death penalty." June didn't flinch. She just kept her eyes on Emma, who was stirring slightly, her eyelids fluttering. "He's not getting off that easy," Marcus said, voice low and raw. But Harrison shook his head. "It's not about him. It's about making sure we get every piece of this story. For you, for Emma, for Sophie." He pulled out a folder. Inside were photos, Daniel's confession written out, maps of the bunker, receipts for supplies, and a list of things Emma had been told over the years. He had a routine, Harrison explained. Every night, he'd tell her the same thing. Asterisk, "You're safe with me. The world is dangerous. Your real family forgot you. I'm the only one who loves you." Asterisk, he even gave her a new name, Lily, said it was prettier, said it was hers, not something her old life stole from her. June felt her chest tighten. All those years, Emma had been calling her Uncle Danny, thinking he saved her, thinking they were the ones who abandoned her, and Daniel, he didn't just take her, he rewrote her mind. Piece by piece, day by day, he erased the truth. But then Harrison said something that made June sit up straight. We found a journal, hidden under the floorboards in the bunker. It wasn't his. It was Emma's. She started writing it when she was about 12, in secret. She'd wait until he was asleep, then scribble on scraps of paper, hide them in an old sock. He handed over a plastic evidence bag. Inside was a bundle of torn notebook pages, the handwriting shaky but clear. June opened it carefully. The first line read, asterisk, I remember a lady who sings to me. She smells like flowers and warm bread. I think she's my real mama. But Uncle Danny says she's not real, so I must be bad for thinking about her. Asterisk, tears spilled down June's cheeks. She kept reading. Asterisk, I miss Sophie. I dream about her. She used to hold my hand when I was scared. I don't know where she is. Uncle Danny says she went to heaven, but I saw dirt on his shoes once, and blood. I think he hurt her. I think he hurt her bad. Asterisk, June's breath caught. Emma knew. Even then, even after all the lies, her mind had held on to the truth. And she had been afraid. So afraid. Heresy said, we're building the case. Everything points to Daniel being solely responsible. No accomplices. No outside help. Just him, his obsession, and 14 years of careful planning. He paused. But one thing still bothers me. That storage unit, the one where he moved the girls for 3 days. We found traces of another person's DNA on the door handle. Male, not Daniel's, not a match in the system. We're still running it. June looked at Marcus. Could it be someone else? Someone who knew. Marcus shook his head. Maybe a worker, a random guy. Doesn't mean anything. But June couldn't let it go. What if someone else had seen? What if someone had known and done nothing? Later that day, Emma woke up fully for the first time. Her eyes focused on June, then Marcus. She didn't speak at first, just stared. Then, in that same childlike voice, she said, you're still here. June nodded. We're not going anywhere. Uncle Danny said you would leave. He said everyone leaves. He was wrong. June said gently. We never stopped looking for you. We never stopped loving you. Emma blinked slowly. Then, softly, she asked, did I have a sister? June's heart broke all over again. Yes, she whispered. Her name was Sophie. She was brave. She loved butterflies and ice cream, and she tried to protect you. Emma's lip trembled. I remember her voice. I think I miss her. It was the first crack in the wall Daniel had built. Over the next few weeks, Emma started therapy. Dr. Patel worked with her every day, helping her untangle the lies from the memories. It wasn't fast. Some days, Emma would panic, scream for Uncle Danny, beg to go back to the bunker. Other days, she'd hum the lullaby June used to sing. And every time she did, June would join in, and Emma would calm down, like the song was a lifeline back to who she used to be. Daniel was sentenced to life without parole. No deal. The judge called his crimes a betrayal of family, of trust, of everything sacred. When he was led away, he looked at June, not with anger, but with something worse than deference, like none of it mattered anymore, like Emma had already been erased from his mind. The DNA from the storage unit. It never led to anyone. A dead end, maybe a delivery guy, maybe a ghost, but June stopped chasing it. Some questions don't need answers. Some wounds don't need reopening. Emma still has bad days. She still asks about Uncle Danny sometimes. Still flinches at loud noises. But she also laughs now. She's learning to read again, to eat with a fork, to walk outside without fear. She's starting to remember small things. The tire swing, the smell of pancakes on Sunday, Sophie's laugh. And every night, June sings her the lullaby, the one about the mockingbird and the diamond ring. And every night, Emma holds her hand a little tighter. People ask June how she's strong, how she didn't break. She always says the same thing. Love doesn't break, it bends, it waits, it finds a way back. The treasure hunter never found gold or silver that day, just a thermos, a grave, and a truth no one wanted to face. But because of him, a daughter came home. Not whole, not yet, but alive. And sometimes, that's enough.